Welcome to Unholy Vibes. Today we're joined by another wonderful special guest, one that you have heard of, one that has been mentioned in a previous episode, and that is our new friend, Robb. So, Robb, why don't you introduce yourself, tell the people who you are and how we're connected from previous episode.
Yeah, for sure. I'm Rob. So my wife was on one of your episodes previously, and she mentioned some things. I'm like, hey, what if you got my point of view? So reached out and everything. Like, oh, hey, let's tell my story. So yeah, I've definitely been all around the world. Had my experiences. I'm
Real
definitely
quick,
yeah.
tell the people who your wife is. So,
Yeah. My wife's Andrea. Yeah. She actually got put on your show from one of her friends, Cassie. Yep.
her episode is called A Face in the Closet, The Toy Box, and The Pull. That is from season 2. Yeah, we met her through Cassie or Cassandra. She was referred, and it's just been a wonderful chain of events. I'm so glad we're here, by the way. I'm really excited to hear your side of things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I don't discredit the unknown, right? But I definitely, oh, hey, there is definitely something out there. Yeah, said I've been all over the place. I think it all started whenever I was young. My dad, he was military, so we lived in this place in Nebraska, right across the street from a cemetery. So that had its fair share of crazy things happening there. I was way too young to fully remember, but I think my interest in the unknown, if you will, came around my teen era, reading all these books, Goosebumps and whatnot. And all right, I could get down and I could get down on this stuff. So I definitely am one to, I guess, go out and look for it too.
Ooh.
Yeah. And whenever she watches this, Andrea, I love you and all, but the hotels that I pick are not haunted. I promise. I promise. So yeah, and that's kind of how everything got rolling for me. And yeah, here we are now, and I'm just want to share everything with everyone who listens and watches.
Yeah, and we're excited to hear it. So, you are in the military, correct?
Yep, correct.
I find that a lot of military families that I've talked to or spouses, military spouses, even, they're always, yeah, we've been so many places. The odds of us seeing something crazy, just you're going to. You're going to. And everyone I've talked to says that military base housing is something else. There's a lot of energy and funky vibes on a lot of the military housing just because so many people have come and gone. So much has happened in those places. And so I mean, tell me if you disagree, but I think military bases specifically are quite a hot spot, or even towns near military bases when you're not living on base. I feel like those are definite hot spots just because of the amount of history they all have of just people passing through over the years.
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of these places have rich histories. I was stationed in Fort Lewis, Washington. Great history there. Fort Sill, Oklahoma. A huge history there. Yeah, that's one of the interesting places too. Definitely a lot of late night CQ shifts walking in these old barracks. Like, did I just nah? I'll be all right. Hey, go up there and check it out. All right.
That's funny.
So yeah, definitely something going on there.
Yeah. So go ahead and walk us through some of the stories you've got and some of your history and what you've experienced. I mean, I'm sure you have experiences that are just yours, and I'd love to hear about those. But also, we talked about earlier, I want to get your side of some of the things that Andrea told us about. So dive right in, spare no details, give it to us, and we'll discuss around it. And I'll do my best not to interrupt, but also no promises because I may have a question. You may have to just dive in.
Right. I think one of the big ones that I truly remember in my first big experience with it was I went to a little town in Idaho called Nez Perce. It's small little town in the middle of nowhere. And they had a hotel. And yeah, I was there with my uncle and aunt. We were there for her brother's graduation. And the hotel we stayed in, it just had this weird vibe. So we're walking in, we're checking in. Everyone's down at the bottom. There was a restaurant or a cafe, and walking in, it was just this eerie, deep vibe. And then Everyone was outside. Cafe was shut down. I'm standing in the lobby waiting to go upstairs to our room. I'm looking in the cafe. There was a lady standing behind the bar cash register area. And I just had a double take and then noped it right back outside to where everyone was standing at. I'm like, I don't know if I saw this or not, but there's a lady in the cafe wearing all white. Like, that's weird. This should be closed. No one's here, and we're the only ones staying in this hotel. So we had this whole hotel to ourselves. We get up to our room, and as the days go on, just weird vibes kept going on. We're laying down, and I want to say like the sink turned on by itself.
I don't like that, but keep going.
Yeah, no. So the way the room was set up, there was one main bathroom where the toilet and the shower was in, and it was in between two different rooms. Everyone had their own sink in their separate rooms. So we're laying there, and the sink turned on. We would leave. Our stuff would come back moved. It was crazy. I guess my uncle tried coming into the room. We had a trash bag full of our dirty clothes to get washed, and that somehow moved up towards the door to the room. We were playing around, us kids, we were playing around in the hotel. There was one room that was shut down, completely closed off. Turns out it was a room where a lady of the night, if you will, was murdered. And I guess bloodstains would just keep reappearing and whatnot. And that's the room where you get that feeling, right? Yeah, and that's where I found out the history about the hotel. It used to be an old brothel, yada yada yada, built back way in those days. And I think that's kind of what helped roll trying to get answers for things, if you will. I'd go out and there has to be a reason why I'm seeing these things, or the sink turned on, garbage bag full of clothes are moving. Well, side note, we went back there to go visit, and I was married to Andrea, and we had our kids and whatnot. Hey, I got a perfect place for us to stay, a hotel that she remembered me telling her stories about, seeing some stuff in
That's
that
cruel
hotel.
and unusual, man, but also
Right,
hilarious.
right. So yeah, that started, and Andrea told me not to talk down, or if she definitely has something with her though. She has, I guess, someone following her. I don't know. She went to go see someone, and like, hey, there's a presence following you. So I think she's one of the magnets for things happening around us.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me from everything I've heard from her and now you. I mean, and not the first person I've heard have something like that happen either. So yeah, that doesn't really surprise me. It
Right.
happens.
Yeah, she definitely has this thing following her, or she's a magnet for it. And hey, I'm all for it. I'll try to sit here and explain all the weird things happening, but deep down inside, I got my little box and EMF readers and what's going on here. So yeah, and as time went on, I felt maybe it was just me imagining things, or I was a kid with an imagination, and I like to draw a lot, so I have these weird drawings and everything and some of this stuff comes from what I've seen. So who knows? But yeah, I kind of hit like a pause in seeing a lot of things until I ended up joining the military, going off to basic, and then we finally get stationed in Washington. I think a lot of things bumped up again in Washington.
Right.
And Andrea, she definitely has her experiences. One of the ones that I remember, she probably told the story, but we were living in on post housing, and they were some of the older ones. They were brick buildings, and Andrea never liked this place. She will never go down to the basement. There was always something going on with the basement, and I was on. It was the night before I was going on deployment to Iraq, and I was sitting there with our son. I was taking photos with the webcam I had, like last minute photos and whatnot. And there were a series of photos that were good. It was clear. And then there was one photo in the middle of the mix. There was a black mass above us, and yeah, I was trying to find the photo so I'll be happy to share it once I find it.
Please.
Yeah, it's huge. It took up the whole top corner of the photo, and then the next ones were fine. And I didn't even notice until I got back from deployment and scrolling through the photos. Wait a minute. But did the photos, put the kids down, and one of her friends came over to watch the kids while Andrea took me off to my unit. And I guess the babysitter had her own experiences as well. And I don't know what happened, but there's something going on in the house. So apparently, as we left, the kids were asleep, and she was hearing running upstairs.
Right.
To this day, I still don't know what exactly was going on there, but that was definitely I want to find that photo. That one caught me off guard. I never had any real experiences at that one, but yeah, just seeing that photo,
Yeah,
kind of,
that's I'd be very interested to see that if you could find
yeah,
it. No worries if not. But I do remember Andrea telling us about the babysitter and the running sounds. But the photo, I don't think she mentioned that. Apologies if she did and I forgot, but I
um,
genuinely I don't think she did. And so that's always something that's we don't understand. We just don't understand how it all works. And
right,
so when something like that happens, it's okay. What?
and
How do you explain that? You know what I mean?
exactly,
So, I mean, you've got your EMF readers, your spirit box, things like that, and I get the concept. But then it's catching something on camera, one out of X amount of photos that you took. It's
yeah.
still, yeah, but why? What the heck was that?
Like, 1 in a million chances, boom, right there, and what was it? And it just never really I never had that feeling in the house that we stayed in there. I know Andrea, she's got this connection, I guess. I just didn't get it with that house. Yeah, saw the photo. Ooh, I'm gonna definitely save this one. That is gonna be a great story. And coming back in those late night shifts, pulling like CQ guard, or I'm a CQ runner. Yeah, staying up all night, and I guess being up for like 20 plus hours can definitely play with your mind a little bit. But I'd go around, do my checks and whatnot. And did I just hear that? Or hey, there's no one else in this building at in the morning. Um, why did that door shut or door slam? Just, yeah, a lot of things, the old barracks that we used to stay in, pulling some of these shifts, walking around. There was one night I was in charge and I had a runner, and I was telling him stories, just playing around with him. Oh, these barracks are old, and I was here whenever we built them, and blah blah blah. And started moving into ghost stories. And yeah, I did this once before, and I'm hearing things upstairs. I need you to go upstairs and do your checks. And the look of shock on his face after I told him all these ghost stories, to make him go up there and do them. He's like, nope, all right, let me go up there. I'll do my checks. And I was gonna play around, and I was recording a video, and I go in this one room, and I got that weird feeling upstairs. It was on the third floor, so yeah, definitely no one was up there. Got this video, and yeah, just right across my like shadow. Oh, here I am. I'm trying to play a joke on him, and like have one of those pop up scary faces on the video. But I actually ended up catching something
Yeah.
on the video. Oh, what the heck? Okay, let me go right back downstairs. Like, no, you're good. So I ended up scaring myself, I guess. Yeah, because I was not prepared for that. And I think that's what gets me a lot too, is it's being unprepared for it is what gets me. So that one I definitely don't have the video of. I would have shared that too. I'm like, but yeah, the CQ ships in the barracks. Yeah, and I guess Fort Lewis, or now it's Joint Base Lewis McChord, definitely had its fair share of, past histories and people hearing things out there. We left Fort Lewis, came back to the Missouri area, and I think things died down a little bit again for me whenever I left. Did a stint of recruiting out here. When I went to recruiting school, it's right down the road from, I don't know if anyone's going to be familiar with this, but Waverly Hills Sanatorium. And
Oh,
yeah, yeah, it's well known. I'm still to this day, I'm going to go there. And that interest of trying to go hunt things down, I'll
man.
get there. But no real experiences. Went back to Fort Lewis again. And this is the one where I think things really amped up. So I don't know if you remember her telling the story about the house we had by the lake. So yeah, we're living on North Fort in Fort Lewis. We had a little house out by American Lake. This one, I definitely felt that presence there. There was always something on the back side of the house. So the house, it kind of went from, it had kitchen, living room area, and then it moved to the bedroom areas towards the back of the house. And that's where it felt a lot heavier, I guess. Everyone was having their experiences, the blinds, small little things. The one that got me was we're laying down in bed. It's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I think. It was late at night. And I don't know, I just woke up and I could see our closet and this this face. So I'm gonna get over here. So this face comes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it was an old lady. It just a smile, just one of those huge creepy smiles, what you think on horror movies and whatnot. Just peek out and went back in. I mean, like just roll over and yeah, no, hey, not not going to try to freak you out or anything, but hey, this is what happened. That's where Riley doesn't like sleeping in her room. There's something in that back room. So my daughter's room is where I definitely had that deepest feeling. I'm gonna save this story for last. This is the good one. But we had my uncle stay over. My wife actually had people, a ghost hunting crew, come to the house, and they were doing the spirit box, and that room was active, and our living room was active too with people's voices. And at first, I thought it's probably from, hey, we live on a military base, so we're getting a lot of radio interference, but no, no, that wasn't the case. They were pretty spot on with some of the stuff. So yeah, the creepy old lady face, and I'll share the drawing I have of it too. Said I like
Yeah.
to draw a lot of these things.
Yeah, I'd
Uh,
like to see that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. This house on the house on American Lake.
House
Yeah,
on American Lake.
yeah, right? No, that's the one where a lot these feelings, these energies, like this real big spark for really hunting into the, I guess, unknown, the supernatural, if you will, or whatever. Because yeah, I downloaded my spirit box and walking around. I was never home though, so a lot of my experience were like short little spurts because I was always gone, being in the military, like traveling around, and Andrea would be home a lot and she'd get the brunt of everything. So yeah, geez, little every time I go in her room though, there was always something leading to the closet.
Daughter's room.
Yeah, yeah, daughter's
Oh,
room, right.
okay.
Yeah. We finally left there and we ended up going to Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and share a little history about it. The American frontier, I guess, back in the day. If anyone's familiar with Geronimo and his story, that's kind of where everything happened in the end there. I ended up working for the command group for Fort Sill, and every once in a while I'd go over to the commanding general's house for like we had a Christmas party, or I'd have to go help his aide with some stuff. And his house was definitely unique. Very old. I forgot who it was, but someone on this front porch was gunned down, and like I guess his spirit was there, and just a lot of old history there. We're walking around the house getting ready for the new commanding general to come in, and it was like this tap, 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 tap. Like, where is this coming from? And it was during the warmer time of the year, so it was definitely warm. But we go up to the second floor, and you get these chills. Yeah, we're trying to walk around, find this place, or find the source of this tap. We just couldn't find it, and then we're moving some stuff. They had this I wouldn't say an old statue, but it's like, hey, let's take this out to the trash. It was a Buddha type thing. I guess one of the spouses had it there for protection. I brought it home, and Andrea was not happy because things in the house.
Rookie mistake, man.
So yeah, I bring this home, and then we were living there for a while, and there's no real craziness going on, but bring this thing home, and that's where I had my first vision of the house. So behind our house that we had is an open field, and a little creek would run through it during heavy rains and whatnot. There was this old tree, dead tree, just out in the middle. And I had this vision. There was water all around, and then a lady in a dress, Native American, just hanging out there, just staring. It almost felt, yeah, it's definitely a dream, I feel. And then I'm looking outside the window, this lady, and just the piercing black eyes coming through, and then these little odd feelings of there's someone here around us. Later found out that, again, huge Native American land area,
Right.
and there was a lot of them buried right in our area. So I think bringing this thing that was supposed to protect the house, I definitely think it attracted something because, yeah, these little visions here and there, I would get these weird feelings someone's here with us. I think Andrea, like I said, I think she's the one that gets them to the house too. She's a magnet for this type of stuff. So yeah, had these visions. The place that she worked at Fort Sill, it was the club. It was the bar where we host events and whatnot. I don't know if she shared her stories with that, but yeah, that place.
I don't think she talked about that specifically. So I'm interested to hear what you got to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. So I remember she was telling me, again, she has this thing with basements. She goes down to the basement and she's doing something. I think someone came over to replace a keg for the bar. And she was down there because she had an escort. And there was some sort of, she had something happen there where both of them noped it right out of the basement. Something slammed, but there, I guess there was a lot of history there. And one of the owners was actually trying to get the Ghost Adventure crew to actually go there and do a lockdown because, yeah, there's definitely something going on there. Andrea let me go down in the basement one time, and I tried my thing. I didn't get it, maybe because they were all hanging up with her on the main floor. But no, she definitely didn't like working or being alone there, especially in the basement. Yeah, she had her experiences there in Geronimo's grave. So he's buried out there, and we used to do runs. So we would it's 2 miles out there, 2 miles back, or however, and definitely being respectful to the grave sites of all of them, but would run out there. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, and around this time, 5 o'clock, it's still dark, and it definitely plays tricks on you. Or like, I guess, being tired and running, get out there, and off in the distance, off in the woods, there they are. It was a group of them. So my unit, there was 4 or 5 of us, and there's a lot of people on the roads, but not a lot of them go all the way out there. And by the time you get out to the grave site, there's one or two stragglers. We're all by ourselves. Definitely no one in the grave site, just hanging out. And yeah, there's the group of them standing out and just watching. Again, something didn't feel right, but you just got to drive on. Like, oh, okay, let's
Yeah.
let's let's make this run a little bit faster now.
Yeah. Because what are you
I'll
gonna,
see.
what do you even do? Do you go confront whatever it is, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They definitely didn't look normal, right? Everyone, we all have our PT gear and everything. It's an open base, if you will, especially for the Native Americans to go out there and, I guess, see the grave sites and pay their respects and everything like that. So you really don't think about it, but it's just still just a group of them in the woods, just watching, being judged, right? And yeah, we just kept on going, and I guess we asked questions later. So yeah, it was definitely an experience.
And that happened pretty frequently.
So that was the one time I saw him. And let's see, I went for a bike ride, and there's a bridge, and right next to the bridge, I guess it used to be an old water pump or water building. And I'm already 8 miles into this bike ride. Go out to this place, and you got to take this dirt road, and you got to go past the park, and it's off in the woods. It was a nice little walk to get there. And I, I got on the trail, parked my bike there because I just wanted to take a minute to just unwind, take it all in because it was nice and beautiful and quiet. And then I start hearing this rustling behind me. I get up to check it out. Still nothing there. And like I could see the leaves, the branches on the ground, like the small little bushes and whatnot, rustling, coming closer to me. And like, okay, there's no rabbits, no squirrels, nothing. So I got back on my bike and got out of there and pedaled all the way back home. So that was another hot spot in the area, I guess. And Taylor Hall, which used to be the old field hospital during the frontier days, the 1800s and whatnot. That was also another hotspot. I never got to experience anything there, but I heard stories that I guess in the main entrance there was the second story, and you could look down and there would be people looking down when the building is empty because I guess they used to, people would look over and watch surgeries be done.
Oh,
Yeah, people would be looking down at the first floor. I never got to go in there and experience anything there, but yeah, Fort Sill definitely had its stories, its known hotspots. It's an older house, I guess. Definitely, yeah, been here for a hot minute. There was I guess, a death here in the house.
oh, great! Of course there was.
Yeah, and I joke. So I stay here with my dad and Andrea, my kids. They stay in Missouri, and we joke back and forth like, "Oh, hey, it's the ghost that's doing these things, knocking things over in the house." One night, my dad's gone. He's in Missouri. My bed's right here, and I felt someone push on me, my chest, just. And it was really, it was hard enough to like wake me up. I'm like, oh, what? Yeah. So there's things here in this house that are definitely unexplainable. I'm hearing, and what was it? I was joking with my guys in the office, like didn't get any sleep. Someone kept whispering in my ear, hello, hello. I'm like, yeah, it's this house now. There's things here and there. The one that kind of got everyone going. I was outside, I was smoking a cigarette, and I come in and it's dark. I have all the lights off, but my dad has this outdoor rocking chair. I walk in and it's rocking.
Classic.
Yep.
Dang it, man.
So I think I might have that video still. The chair rocking, the whispers, the pushing down on me. That's the one that like, oh, what? Like, okay. I think my dad, he's talked about things getting knocked off here and there. Yeah. So the house that I'm in right now, something might be here. I mean, everything adds up. The
Yeah.
death, the old house, and the open field. So yeah, now as maybe if I get more evidence and whatnot, and I can definitely share it here and there.
Oh, yeah.
My nephew and my sister, like it's down in the basement again. It's always the basements. Yep. He's I guess afraid or is very cautious about the downstairs. I haven't really played around down there yet, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, moved here, doing this ghost hunting stuff. It's definitely opening my eyes a little bit more. The one big trip that we did was Missouri State Penitentiary.
Okay. Good energy there.
Right. We're doing this ghost tour, and before we did it, we did a regular tour, like history tour. My dad, he was recording a video, and across the way, you could see a shadow figure run across the walkway. This was a hot spot for people seeing shadow figures. Well, about a month or so later, we did the actual ghost tour at night. We're walking up, everyone broke off into their little groups. We go to the dungeon, and he has the spirit box, and it kept saying my name, Robert, like four or five times maybe. And it was the same constant voice. There was no change. There's, if anyone's played with the spirit box, it just, you hear like different voices or like frequencies and whatnot.
Yeah.
It was the same constant voice, just saying my name, Robert, Robert. Played around down there and had a few hits on like MF and things like that, temperature hits. But that's the main one that I think caught our attention. We break off, we do a few more things, and we ended up into, I want to say it's like D block, the bad part where the demon, like all the bad spirits are supposed to be. We're off in the cell. So my dad and nephew, they broke off. They went off somewhere else. So I'm with my sister and we're in different cells. And she finally comes in the same cell as I do. And I'm provoking. Hey, my sister's here. Come get her if you want her. And then we also had, yeah, I know, right? We had cat toys. They're little balls that light up if you move. So we placed one on the ground and a few minutes passed by and just nothing. Then I turn and I look outside the cell door and I just like black shadow or mist or whatever, like energy just rushes in towards me. And it was like a numb electric feeling. And I'm just like, whoa. Then the ball starts going crazy. It's not just shaking, it's rolling around in circles. My sister, she's starting to ask questions. She's recording it and everything, and then got up and left her in the cell. I was like, hey, go get her. And this ball is still going crazy. But yeah, just it was weird how it happened. Because
Damn.
you see these things in like, you hear these stories and like, oh, it's never going to happen to me. Or like, do people really experience these types of things? And experiencing it firsthand, like the show me state, you show me. And someone definitely did show me that night that hey, things happen. Because yeah, it was weird. It just came out of nowhere and rushed in towards me. It was like a rush. And yeah,
Crazy.
that ball started lighting up and moving. Yeah, and then she got upset with me because I got right up out of there. I left her.
Yeah, that's
So
understandable. Why she'd be upset. That's
right.
kind of funny though.
We're finishing up at Missouri State Penitentiary, to the top floor, and coming down, stairs are like really, really steep. Like, yeah, it was. You're not used to them. They can, I guess, mess with you because it messed with my sister. It was dark, but she was trying to go downstairs, and she ended up going down the stairs on her butt. She's scooting down these stairs. She got an app on her phone, like I don't know what you call it, but they will put words, like show words of what they're trying to say, I guess. Someone called her a nitwit. As she was scooting down, like she was so, like, they're so rude and calling me nitwit and like scared. I can't see anything. Of course, I'm going to go down the stairs on my butt. Yeah, Missouri State Penitentiary. There was definitely some crazy things going on there, but everything stems from that night at Fort Lewis in the house on American Lake. It was Halloween night, my son's birthday. We're trick or treating, and I'm like, all right, let me try this. I want to see what I could really do. So I downloaded a Spirit Box app and want to dabble in what's going on in Riley's room. Everyone settling down. Wife's in our bedroom with our daughter. My son, he's in his room. I shut the door. I get this thing going. And of course, the regular static from the spirit box. And then something said toys. So I get up, walk over to her closet because that's where her toys are. As soon as I got up to the closet, a deep, like it was a dark voice, get out of my face. I shut that thing. I went like, all right, this is it. And I think that's where like it really sparked and connected everything. Like I was hearing these stories. My uncle was saying like, hey, there's something in her room. I don't feel like I need to get out of here. Riley not staying in there, and oh, okay, you're fine. It's a new place and people are stressed, whatever. No, it was Halloween night. We got done trick or treating. I think that's where it all sparked for me as far as trying to get answers to things or really experience what is out there. And to this day, like I still hear it. It was a lady, or I wouldn't say a lady's voice, but it was very soft, like toys. Like, okay. Then as soon as I get up there, get out of my face. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, like, all right, uh, you guys are 100% not crazy. There is definitely something going on with this house. Yes. And yeah, that was a lot of my experience, and I'm probably leaving out a whole lot more. I definitely had a lot more, but
Yeah.
as time goes on, like I said, I'm more than happy to share with you thing I've got.
Love to see
And
the drawings, any pictures, any videos, anything you've, but these sound pretty substantial. So I am very curious to see what you've got. And with all these stories in mind, just your own sensitivity to these experiences. And not everyone can say that. Not everyone, I mean, call it a blessing or a curse or whatever, but some people they're not like magnets. They're not in that frequency, And so I think you found your way there at least. You may have not started there, but you
right,
found your way there.
right,
That is crazy. You've had some pretty crazy experiences. It's good that your sister didn't kill you for running out
I
on
know,
her.
right, right,
Yeah.
right.
What do you do when you hear something like that? It's like with the spirit box. I mean, what do you even do with that? I know you guys continued to live there for a while and had some other experiences, but still, if it were me, I'd be like, oh, I guess we're moving.
Right, right.
Something like that.
Oh,
So do you think that's like your, just to ask on the side, like, do you think that's like your peak story, or do you have like do you have something that's like
yeah,
leave you with this crazy something, Because that was a good one. That's really good.
yeah. That was because that again, that I was not expecting that. And right now, I'm still hearing it. I think everyone has that one experience, or the few experiences in life where it's just like forever melted in your mind. Like you can smell the air of that day, right? And
Yeah.
it's this night was the night, and I wish I could share it with like everyone, just the feeling, the atmosphere of that room. It's Halloween night. It's already like spooky and whatnot. The house already has its vibes already.
Yeah,
And
face in the closet.
right, right. And this was honestly just me playing around. Like, let me just see what I get. And
Yeah.
the
It,
soft toy voice, and then that deep dark voice saying, "Get out of my face." It was clear.
you got bait and
You
switched
can
by the ghost, dude.
I did 100%. Like, joke's on you. I got you now. And since then, we have our things here and there. Andrea, like I said, she's a magnet for it. It's just like we're apart, and I can't scare her like I want to. Yeah, because we got this new house, and it's already bad enough. It's like, yeah, it was built 1900, so that's one piece of the puzzle, right? Luckily, I haven't heard any crazy stories from her yet, but who knows? Sometimes things take a minute, or maybe it's just hanging out with me right now. Um,
Yeah. Well, and you know what? Nothing wrong with nothing happening either, though.
right.
But that's crazy. And listen, if anything wild does happen to you or her, you guys reach out to me and let's talk about it. I want to hear any updates you might have.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
I'm glad I've had both of you guys on to tell your stories from your own sides. I feel like we've come to a good stopping point. That is such a good story, though, and I really appreciate you coming on. Before we wrap up, I'm going to ask a couple questions just to kind of lighten
Yeah.
around it.
Yeah.
So, how do you reconcile with these things? Like, did you grow up religious? Do you have any sort of religious background, spirituality, things like that help you kind of cope with these things, or you just kind of accept them as forces of nature?
I grew up Catholic and everything like that. My mom, she's Filipino, so they have their own folklore, and like she was very superstitious. As I grew up, my mind opened up a little bit more,
Right.
being acceptable, and
Right.
things may happen, things may not. There's this reason, there's that reason,
Right. So you had some of that as a background. I find that people with backgrounds like that have an easier time accepting things as they happen to them, if that makes sense.
Right,
Right.
right.
Because like I'm religious, but I don't have experiences like this. Not okay,
Oh,
not very
yeah,
many, not
yeah.
many. And I've gone ghost hunting a little bit. I've done my own little thing or two
Mhm.
here and there. Maybe I need to try different places with different equipment, who knows? But I kind of count it as a blessing that I'm not having experiences all the time. because I feel like it'd just be like, oh, it's too much. I just don't want to deal with it right now, you know? I've had people that have experiences and they literally just tell whatever is happening. They say, not right now. I'm trying to get my sleep, you know, leave me alone. Go
Yeah, right?
away. And I think everyone's built differently and has different attributes, spiritually speaking or metaphysically speaking, if you will, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Okay. That is interesting though, and we kind of already answered this, but do you think that the more you've sought these things out, that increased your likelihood of having experiences? Kind of seems like a yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you go looking for it, and me personally, I think that's definitely led to the increases because, like, hey, I'm looking for it, and now once I actually experienced it, it's one of those things like you notice these little things now. I guess walking into the house and the chair's rocking, like, oh, bloop bloop, like maybe someone is not even paying attention to it, but that weird vibe, like I think it's a lot of that
Yeah.
energy feeling, I guess, after experiencing it at the American Lake House and the penitentiary. I know that feeling. It's forever burnt or like with you.
Do you feel like Pandora's box has been opened, or do you think you could like close that and reduce the amount of instances that happen in your life? Because like it's one thing to go out looking for it, but I feel like with you and with Andrea, I mean, some people have like that just innate sensitivity and they're magnets to these kind of things. But do you feel like there's something you could do to be like, okay, maybe I get the house blessed or sage or whatever your coping mechanism may be or whatever method you may use. Do you think you could get away from it if you wanted to, or do you think it's just it is what it is now? Pandora's box is opened.
Feel like it is what it is. And Andrea had that psychic visit or whatever, that reader or medium, and she was told like she has things following her. It's one of those things like hopefully she's grown to accept. Either way, like I'll take it. It really doesn't bother me. I'll handle the situation. I will say she has sage everywhere. Like there, you go to the house and there is the bowl of sage, like the little sage stick. So she's trying everything and anything to make sure,
To kind of
like yeah,
keep it under control.
yeah,
It is so fascinating. It sounds like she's doing what she can to keep it at bay,
yeah,
but you never know. Might have to go looking for something if it ever becomes too much of a bother or too much of a weight, you know, because it can be a burden that they don't want to deal with. And others, they handle it. Sounds like you guys are
right.
handling it, you know, so to each their own for sure. Wild stuff. I look forward to seeing the videos and pictures you have to show. So hopefully you can find them. Thank you for coming on the show, man. I know we had some scheduling mishaps. I
Yeah.
appreciate you working with me and getting on here. Anything you want to plug? Any social medias or anything you want the people to follow?
Not yet. Here pretty soon. Be on the lookout for Death Row Inc.
Okay.
coming soon.
Keep me
So
updated. And for listeners, for fans of the show, thank you for listening. Thank you for coming back to Unholy Vibes. Hope you had a good time. Please feel free, reach out to me on Instagram or TikTok at Unholy Vibes Pod. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that for Rob that you want me to ask, something I missed, something I wasn't thinking of, a question I should have asked, reach out to me, let me know, and him and I can DM and we can publish a little update if need be. Be sure to check out Andrea's episode from season 2, linked in the description as well. So that way you guys can kind of hear them side by side and put the puzzle pieces together, hear the complete story with both perspectives. Be sure to share this with anyone who you think might enjoy some spooky stuff. I am always looking for more guests with good stories. So please, everyone listening, if you know someone with a good story, have them reach out to me at Unholy Vibes Pod on Instagram and TikTok, or you can email unholyvibespod@gmail.com. I love hearing from my fans. I love hearing from new listeners, old listeners alike, whatever. I still get people sending me stories. So please, let's chat. Let's get you on here to tell your stories. I love doing this. I do it for the love of the game. I want your spooky stories. Share, like, subscribe, all that weird nonsense. I'm not much of a social media person. I'm glad you're here listening if you are. I appreciate all of you. Rob, thank you again for coming on. This has been Unholy Vibes. Stay spooky, and we'll see you next time.